Oh my God.
Oh, dude, you're like a real superhero, man.
Oh my God.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to a brand new episode of Keeping It Real with me, Alex Cardinale, where I break down tragedies. I break down tragedies that shocked America. Tragedies like mass casualty events or horrific fires. Today, I'm going to keep it real with you about a horrific fire that took place in 1980, almost 40 years ago. Now, this fire took place at a fancy hotel and a fancy casino. Imagine you're out in Las Vegas celebrating, having a good time at 7 o'clock in the morning at the MGM Grand Hotel. Imagine a fire breaks out in a restaurant on the bottom floor of the casino, and then eventually the fire spreads through the upper floors of the casino. The smoke becomes so thick, foggy, and dangerous that it spreads into the hotel, killing most of the people. Most of the people die from smoke inhalation. Well, you don't have to imagine anymore because that's exactly what happened in this fire. And this fire rocked and shocked and changed America. It was a really devastating fire. It started with a simple pastry case and it ended with the death of over 80 people, most from smoke inhalation, and a destroyed casino. So, today's tragedy. On November 21st, 1980, a large fire broke out at the MGM Grand Casino and Hotel in Las Vegas. 85 people were killed from the smoke, and this was the third deadliest hotel fire in modern history. Today, I'm going to tell you all about this tragic casino and hotel fire. As always, you could be part of the show by posting your thoughts on this tragedy in the comments. So let's go ahead and learn about this horrible tragedy, the MGM Grand Casino and Hotel fire. The MGM Grand Fire occurred on Friday, November 21st, 1980, at the MGM Grand Hotel and Casino located on the Las Vegas Strip in Paradise, Nevada. The fire killed 85 people, most through smoke inhalation. The fire began from a refrigerated pastry display case in one of the restaurants located on the first floor. Fire engulfed the resort's casino and smoke traveled into the hotel tower. The tragedy remains the deadliest disaster in Nevada history and the third deadliest hotel fire in modern U.S. history after the 1946 Wincoff Hotel fire in Atlanta, Georgia, that killed 119 people, and the 1986 Dew Point Plaza Hotel fire in Puerto Rico that killed 97. The incident led to the reformation of fire safety guidelines and codes in the state and the United States. At the time of the fire, about 5,000 people were in the MGM Grand, a casino and 26-story hotel with more than 2,000 hotel rooms that had been opened in 1973. At approximately 7:07 a.m. on Friday, November 21st, 1980, a fire began in a restaurant known as the Deli. The fire was discovered during an inspection of the restaurant by a tile crew. A crew supervisor noticed a flickering light, which turned out to be a wall of flames. An employee of the hotel's bakery recounted how just after 7 a.m., he smelled smoke coming from the ceiling vents just before the lights went out. MGM security was immediately advised of the situation and alerted the Clark County Fire Department, which was the first agency to respond. The Clark County Fire Department received a call reporting the fire at 7:17 a.m., with the first engine arriving on the site from across the street at 7:19 a.m. A third alarm was called at 7:22 a.m., and a Metro Police helicopter pilot requested all available helicopters at 7:30 a.m. Other agencies included the North Las Vegas Fire Department, Las Vegas Fire and Rescue, and the Henderson Fire Department. A massive helicopter rescue effort from Nellis Air Force Base pulled 1,000 people from the roof of the MGM Grand. The fire spread to the lobby, fed by wallpaper, PVC piping, glue, and plastic mirrors, racing west through the casino floor at a speed of 15 to 19 feet until a massive fireball blew out the main entrance facing the Las Vegas Strip. From the time the fire was noticed, it took 6 minutes for the entire casino floor to be fully engulfed. It spread across the areas of the casino in which no fire sprinklers were installed. 18 people died in the fire to the first floor, but the burning material created toxic fumes and smoke, which ascended throughout the hotel tower via vertical shafts, elevators, and stairwells, and domestic joints, causing the majority of the death. More than 200 firefighters responded to the fire, and some reported having to crawl through the dark and over mounds of stuff trying to extinguish the fire. Unfortunately, creepily, and sadly, it was later determined that the mounds were deceased guests and staff near an elevator bank. The Las Vegas Fire Department operated separately from the county fire department. The latter served the Las Vegas Strip, so city firefighters were unfamiliar with the MGM's layout, including fire escape routes. This hindered the rescue effort. Proper evacuation of the hotel guest was also hindered as there was no automatic means of returning elevators to the main floor during a fire, causing 10 deceased victims to be found in an elevator. Some hotel guests tied bed sheets together and hung them on balconies to alert first responders. Some tried using the bed sheets to descend the hotel's exterior. Fire ladders were only able to reach the ninth floor exterior. One man escaped the hotel tower by lowering himself down a rope. Some people trapped in their hotel rooms broke open their windows to get fresh air, although this allowed thicker smoke from outside to come into the rooms. People below had to dodge shards of glass falling from the broken hotel windows. An expansion of the MGM was underway at the time of the fire, and a construction worker used a scaffolding platform to lower guests to the ground after they had escaped through their hotel room windows. The Barbary Coast Casino across the street was set up as an evacuation center for MGM guests. A total of 85 people were killed, including 7 employees, and 650 were injured, including guest employees and 14 firefighters. While the fire primarily damaged the second floor casino and adjacent restaurants, 61 of the 85 deaths were on the upper floors of the hotel, which is the 19th floor to the 24th floor, mostly in the stairwells, where all doors except on the roof and ground floor were locked and the smoke concentration was the highest. One young couple died in their sleep. 75 people died from smoke inhalation and carbon monoxide poisoning. So pretty much they asphyxiated on the thick, hazardous smoke and carbon monoxide poisoning. 4 from smoke inhalation alone, 3 from burns and smoke inhalation, and 1 person died from burns alone. And the other died of a disease called myocarditis, which is a heart condition caused by trauma. So basically, seeing a traumatic event such as a fire caused him to have a heart attack. And 1 from massive skull trauma caused by a fall while attempting to escape the fire. So 75 of the 85 people died from smoke inhalation and carbon monoxide poisoning. 4 died from smoke inhalation alone. 3 died from a combination of burns and smoke inhalation. 1 person died from burns alone. And then the final person died from myocarditis, which is a heart condition caused by a traumatic event. So if you get stressed, let's say someone breaks into your house, they have a gun, you have a heart attack and you die. That's a stressful event that caused a heart attack, and that is myocarditis. And someone died from a massive skull trauma from falling. 2 refrigerated semi-trailers were set up as temporary morgues to hold the bodies of victims until they could be identified. The fire was confined to the casino and restaurant areas, but because the hotel was not equipped with a fire sprinkler system, the area with the most fire prevention, get this folks, was in the money counting area. So you could keep your money safe, but you don't care about your guests enough to keep them safe. There was no firefighting equipment in an individual room or on the casino floor. It makes me sick that they only cared about keeping their money safe. The county's fire chief had been concerned that such a fire could occur, as older hotels built prior to 1979 were not required to have certain fire safety features. Nevada Governor Robert List said you can't force people to bring hotels up to codes that didn't exist when they were built. For years after its opening, the resort had declined orders to install a second fire hose in one of its showrooms. As of June 1980, only 20% of fire safety violations discovered 2 months earlier by inspectors had been corrected. The fire was caused by an electrical ground fault inside a wall-mounted electrical receptacle. A refrigerated pastry display case was added after original construction of the hotel to one of its restaurants known as the Deli. Unlike a modern display case, which would be totally self-contained, which is usually a compressor installed in the bottom of a display case, this unit functions like a walk-in cooler or central air conditioning system with a pair of copper refrigerant lines connecting its evaporator to a condensing unit located outside the building. When this setup was installed, the copper line set was run through the same wall soffit as a pre-existing electrical conduit and in physical contact with the conduit. The fan-forced evaporator unit in the display case was not properly secured and thus was able to vibrate constantly while in operation. These vibrations were carried along the copper refrigerant lines, causing the pipes to rub against the electrical conduit in the wall soffit and make them vibrate as well. Galvanic corrosion occurred, in which the copper refrigerant pipes were in physical contact with the aluminum electrical conduit, causing the conduit to erode over time. Galvanic corrosion and vibration, as well as jagged edges and stretched wires resulting from poor workmanship during the installation, eventually resulted in the electrical wires inside the conduit missing chunks of their plastic insulation. The conduit was rendered ungrounded. There was no separate ground wire. The metal conduit itself was designed to function as the ground. So the disintegration of the conduit rendered the system ungrounded. These now bare electrical conductors inside the ungrounded metal conduit glowed red hot and began arcing, which ignited the fire. The fire reportedly smoldered for hours until it found fresh oxygen and burst into a fireball that spread into the casino and was fed by other combustibles. Due to faulty smoke dampers within the ventilation duct network, the toxic fumes circulated throughout the hotel's air conditioning system, accelerating the spread of the poisonous gases. The continued operation of the resort's ventilation system contributed to the fire's harmful effect. On the casino floor, there was no outlet for the smoke, which was spread into the hotel tower by the ventilation system. Smoke rapidly filled the resort's telephone switchboard room, and operators there only had enough time to warn people on the casino floor. Hotel guests were not notified of the fire as the switchboard operators had to evacuate. The elevator shafts were located above the restaurant and casino, which also helped the smoke to spread. Guests who earlier had found that the fire doors in some stairways locked automatically had propped them open for convenience. However, this allowed more smoke to spread. The resort was temporarily closed because of the fire. Much of the damage occurred in the casino, which was charred by the fire. The hotel hallways and stairwells were stained by soot and smoke. Shortly after the fire, some people took advantage They looted jewelry and blackened money from the resort. So some lowlifes stole jewelry and money. State gaming revenues were hurt by the MGM's closure, as the resort was one of the largest tax contributors to the local gaming industry. The county lost an estimated $1.7 million because of the closure, and it was estimated that MGM Grand Hotels could face a $1 billion loss because of the fire. After the fire, the MGM Grand was rebuilt over the next 8 months at a cost of $50 million. It reopened in July of 1981 with numerous fire safety features now in place, including the addition of fire sprinklers and automatic fire alarm system throughout the property, a 2-unit computer, one of them a backup, was provided by Jonathan Controls to monitor hundreds of locations throughout the MGM, helping to prevent another fire. A similar computer had also been installed at another MGM Grand Hotel in Reno, Nevada. The Las Vegas MGM now has more than 30,000 sprinklers, including 4 in most hotel rooms. The hotel also had 8,000 speakers, including 1 in each room, allowing for fire safety instructions to be provided to the guest in the event of a fire. Also, the air conditioning system was heavily modified to prevent smoke from entering hotel rooms, and large exhaust fans were installed with the capability to rid the hotel of fumes in 10 minutes. Plastic pipes and wires, which contributed to the fire, were removed. A 5-minute fire safety program hosted by Gene Kelly in both English and Spanish was played on televisions in hotel rooms. Resort officials believed that the MGM was now the safest hotel in the world. A minor incident occurred 2 weeks after reopening, and the new safety features worked as planned. Insulation material had begun to smolder because of a welder's torch, and this set off automatic alarms. The original hotel tower, where most of the death occurred, continues to operate and is purported to be haunted by the fire victims of nearly 40 years ago. A second tower opened in 1981. The MGM Grand was sold in 1986 to Bally Manufacturing, which changed the name to Bally's Las Vegas. A new MGM Grand was opened in Las Vegas in 1993 at the northeast corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Tropicana Avenue, south of the original MGM. Bally's was again renamed in 2022 as Horseshoe Las Vegas. And that is information about the MGM tragedy, the horrific MGM Grand Fire. But thankfully, because of this tragedy, MGM installed plenty of new safety features, and those safety features worked in a minor incident, so they will work in another mass casualty event like this one. But thankfully, there has not been a mass casualty event since this. So, what are my thoughts on this tragedy? It is horrific. It was definitely preventable. Had MGM decided to add more safety precautions prior to November of 1980, then this would likely not have been such a huge tragedy. If they have had more fire sprinkler systems, for example, the fire could have probably been contained within a reasonable amount of time, and maybe not as many people would have died. So instead, they decided if it ain't broken, why fix it? Well, when it comes to safety, you've got to be really smart. You got to fix everything with safety. If you think it's not broken, still, you have to be smart. So they should have definitely made it fire safe throughout the entire building. I don't understand why they valued money more than their guests, why they made the money room the only safe room. If the entire building was safe, then maybe this would have been a less tragedy than it was. But it's history, and you can't change history. They did the right thing. They learned from this tragedy. They made their hotel much safer than it was before, and this tragedy will likely not repeat itself, at least at MGM Grand in Las Vegas, Nevada. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Keeping It Real with Alex Cardinale. It is very sad sometimes when you have to talk about tragic events and the loss of lives, but it does serve a purpose because we learn these horrific events. So, on the next episode of Keeping It Real, on the next tragedy show, we are going to talk about the 1986 Dew Point Plaza Hotel in Puerto Rico. So, on the next tragedy episode of Keeping It Real, learn about the Dew Point Plaza Hotel from Puerto Rico that killed 97 people. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of Keeping It Real with Alex Cardinale. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, American Alex Cardinale, to watch more episodes of Keeping It Real, my crime show, my fish keeping shows, Saturday Live, my wrestling shows, and all the videos that I have here on my YouTube channel. I'm getting ready to celebrate 1,000 videos and my 10-year anniversary. So now's the time to subscribe, American Alex Cardinale. All right, guys and gals, have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching this video. And if you enjoyed it, please hit the like button. Good night, everybody. Hey everyone, it's your host, American Alex Cardinale, aka legendary Alex Cardinale, aka Aqua Alex, aka Chef Alex, aka Alex, aka Wow, so many personas. One person. This year, I will be turning 30 years old. I can't wait to open a whole new chapter of my life, as I will have now been alive for 3 decades. My 20s will go down in history as being the time I created my podcast and my YouTube channel. I can't wait to see how successful my YouTube channel becomes over the next 10 years. I look forward to seeing what will happen in my 30s. Maybe I'll have a great career or my own business. You never know. Anyway, I'm inviting you, yes you, to be part of my 30th birthday. Live Tuesday, August 15th, 2023. I'll be hosting my 30th birthday celebration on my YouTube channel, and I would love for you to be part of it. Live Tuesday, August 15th, 2023 at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. I'll be hosting my birthday celebration. It's going to be a fun show. There will be appearances from Aqua Alex and Chef Alex. Aqua Alex will be getting new fish for his birthday. It's a species of fish I've never kept before, and I'm excited to unbox them and show them to you. I wonder what species Chef Alex will, for the first time ever, be doing restaurant reviews, and maybe, just maybe, he will bake his favorite cake or dessert. On top of that, I'll sing my favorite song, my 20s, discuss what I look forward to in my 30s, and plenty more. There will be plenty of surprises, including possibly a trip to a casino or something like that. It all goes down live on my birthday, live Tuesday, August 15th, 2023, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on my YouTube channel, American Alice Cardinale. See you then.
Now over the that's all, folks.